to the 1-month journey to Solver World.
Yo guys, looks like it's working. I hope the stream is doing well. Seems to be really long delay. Not sure. And CPU usage is really high. So let's see. If it's lucky or something, let me know. Then I just have to reload it. But I hope it's fine. Here we hit the bottom set. It was set mining in a splash spot. And vanished just to check raise and then shove turns. And let's hope he doesn't have kings. Weird. I'm trying to monitor how the stream is going. But I think I have to wait for some feedback before we can do anything. And oh boy, this old lady here is sitting out. And let's see what Billy has. And he has king 6. He had 2 pairs flush to an open ender, so he had a pretty big hand. That was kind of damn. Pretty awesome flop for him. And then we have ace 10 9 9, and he folded pre-flop. Should we 3-bet this one? There's splash money in the pot, so I think it's worth fighting for. And there's 101% rate back, which means that the splash pots are twice as big as usual. So there's going to be plenty of splash pots. And he calls. Then we flop top pair and flush draw and SPR3 and half-ish. Money is just going in, and we can just bet big because it's not the flop where he's going to make a lot of moves. So let's hope he folds some hands that have decent equity versus us. And he does. Nice. And then short stack 3-bets. Kind of situation, not sure, but I suppose what I have seen that games are pretty wild. He is 50 or 60 BP. If he has aces, then it kind of just sucks. But people, these shorties shove all kinds of hands. Now he has aces, so we have some outs. We don't just hit them. But when the shorty 3-bets, no information, can't really fold. And then we have a huge splash. 100 BB splash, not huge, but 100 BB, it's not like 1000 BB or 800 BB that we had earlier. So let's just see. And let's hope that Elias just calls. Oh, he decides to pot. Oh, should we just gamble here? Not sure about the math. The hand is not great. If it was better, it was easy, but I think often in PLO, if it goes 6-way all in, then everyone had that 16% more or less. And then there's 100 pp dead money in the pot. So I think it's worth. Now if they just draw, now we can actually see the flop before stacking off, and on this flop we don't have anything. So now we can fold and save a few bucks and people get it in. Everyone has something. No one has the flush draw. And 2599 wins with the full house. Oh man. Funny game. So guys, let me know if the stream is up perfectly, because I have some doubts that it's coming mostly looking good, but there's quite a delay and so on. So if it's not running smoothly, let me know. I just need to restart my computer. It's not a problem, but if that needs to be done, I'm happy to do it now in the beginning than in the later parts. And there's a lot of tables running now. There's that 101 railback for the whole week. They are giving 101% back. And today it's in the splash pots. So there's more splash pots, bigger splash pots. And there's a lot of tables running, and what I'm seeing, games are quite active. And we are one bind down. Actually, 1.5 because Jesse won one. And we had a set versus draw versus Billy here on table 3. Lost that flip. Versus 2 open. Versus 1 I would see, but versus 2 the chance of them having an ace is really high. So let's move on. So here with queen then 9-9. Most likely we close the action. And see the flop, which is not perfect. And nothing we can do. Here, blind versus blind is the one who won a big pot, and we hit the top pair with the nut flush draw. And it's just keep on barreling. And it's just bet for protection. If he has a 5, then it sucks. But that looks like he has. Yeah. But we suck out. Here we open 3-bet aces and flop. Cut shot. And not flush draw, so stepping off. Bet small, try to induce a raise. But let's add 50 cents. 50 cents to jackpot because of that one pot just there. Hello, it's Yepi. Okay, looks fine. Yeah, I was just too worried. And jackpot goes up, it means that we play the jackpot intro. Just to let you know that. Jackpot went up. There's probably 4-minute delay in reality because it looks like Twitch puts 1 minute extra. Don't know why. Not sure. Might be. Now on table 2 here we are 200 pips deep with Elia, which is nice. Let's move here where we open jacks. And we flop right shot with blockers. Going to check this flop. If he bets, I'm going to call. Now we can bet for protection. He checks so quickly that I'm not convinced that he has a queen. And could we get value here? From what? Kings. Is the only hand. And he had king 10. Well, if we would have bet, it would have failed. Double paired hand, and we get from loose passive Harrison a 3-bet. And then we can have 4-bet. I'm going to call because if they both have aces, then we have the best equity. And if not, then it's close to break even. So let's play on the wild side. Aces. Oh, aces and queens. Why does the stupid guy shove queens? So 2.5 binds down. Oh man, Harrison, you were supposed to have aces and then we would have had the best equity. That just kills our hand. But well, we still have around 33 pre-flops, so not the end of the world. Rough start. We won one big pot and there we had to suck out. I don't know, we had 25% equity or something. So overall, can't complain about the run. Lost a couple of flips and won one where we were underdog. So let's wait. Let's listen to some music. $100 splash. And oh man, we are having bad hands on these splash pots. I hate. We had the 800 splash last time, and our hand was super bad. We flopped the trips and lost to better trips. And now everyone starts to raise. I don't know, maybe I should even fold this crappy hand. If there was more than 100 PP, we would have to get in with any hand, but I'm not sure here. How likely it is that someone has a king? All right. I think Jennifer has at least one. Or then he's bluffing with a really nice bluff. Hello, Yellow Schnee. Is he going to pick up the pot with 7 euro bet, or is he slow rolling? Oh my god. Oh, he had a king. People never say pew if they were actually bluffing. So that's king for sure. Let's raise here and pick up the pot. Table 2, splash pot. We missed the flop completely. I hope the run turns towards the end. Because this is not looking nice. Wrap with the backdoor flush draw. Second nuts. And the nuts. And now let's try to get something. So let's bet really, really small. No. No luck. $0.60. Oh, that helps. Yeah, there are 100 BB splash, then there are bigger. The biggest splash is 1000 BBs. And in PLO 2, that's 200 euros added money to the pot. That's when you would really want to have a good hand. Let's float here, and now with the 10 blocker, let's bet and then barrel the river. He bet so small that I don't think he has a full house. I want him to fold his. Oh, he had. He bet so small on the flop that thought he had just some ace queen or ace high hand. So he got pretty nice value from us. Pocket aces. Down. Top two pairs. And table one, really bad river card. Let's just pot here for protection. It's kind of hand, and we are not happy to see the turn. And then some acro raises. We are blocking eights, we are blocking fives. Can't get away from this one. And he has the wrap. Oh, he has just an open ender, nothing more. So he decides to get it in with open ender on the flush draw board. And that's 50 cents to the jackpot. Looks like today jackpot is coming up. There's quite a lot of big pots going on. Yeah, if you want to hear music, then use the command SR. Oh, it's yep, you tilted away half of your bankroll. Well, don't do it. That's the easy solution, because especially in PLO, your mental game has to be strong. And if you know that you might tilt, then definitely start focusing it. And one of the easiest ways is to get free audio book of a mental game of poker and put your mental game together. Down 10 binds. Who, me? No. We are probably down 1 this session and overall winning a lot. I don't know about ambition, who are you talking to, but I'm not down. Quite the opposite. And we win a nice board on table 4 by turn barreling with the top pair. And looks like the games are pretty nice. When you dial up rate back to 101%, that's when players come. So it's a nice promotion to build up the traffic. Yeah, I don't like those big splash bots because it's all the rate and there's way much worse. I would like to have a lot more often those smaller splash bots. But the smaller ones, you don't have to gamble on everyone. Then you play like normal game and you get something back. But when there's 100 BP or 1000 BP splash, then you sort of have to get it in whatever you have because it's plus EV, but it's huge variance. And like in the last session, there was 800 BP splash, which was 160 euros on PLO 20. And then we get a rainbow crappy hand, some jack then 7 dudes or something real crappy, and then you're like, oh, do I really need to put 200 BPs in with crappy hand? And I hate those situations. I don't like the variance. Let's float here. Oh, now he has it. Or he's just playing with me. Not a nice spot if he's 3-betting me constantly. Then we need to stand against him. Let's see how many tables we have. Could we change the table? Oh, there's almost 10 tables open. So I'm going to actually open one more to see, because I don't want to be 200 PPs deep when we have aggressive player on our left. That's not something you want to have. Let's see what happens here. Oh, we flopped the top set. That's always nice. And we are blocking the draws, which is not a nice thing. And then Jesse opens up. We have kings. Not a 3-bet hand, but we could flop the set. And we do flop the set. Plan was to check raise the turn on a blank once, but that helps. And I don't think he puts me on a full house, so I think he is bluff catching lightly here. And he is. Nice. And he had 8-7-5-4. So he had 7-5 for the second nut straight. Well, it's happy you have to accept the variance. There's no other way. You just have to. There's nothing you can do about it. Splash bot hit the set with blocker to top set. That's a nice card because no one who has an ace will fold it. And then let's try to get value from ace king, ace queen. Sometimes the variance sucks, and if you're 20 binds under EV, that's your average day in PLO. You gotta suck it up, because it will happen often. That's not the last time you will have that, and you will have worse. So if you can't accept and live with them, you're going to have a hard time in PLO. That's why mental game in PLO is so damn important. Oh, I'm going to sit out here. Because these players, Jesse is 3-betting me all the time, and he has position, so my life is just miserable here with her. And he's making my life too painful. And he's not over aggressive. I think he has pretty decent sizing and not going to battle with her. Not sure if it's even plus EV, so I will change to more passive table where I get more money more easily. Here on table 3 versus aggressive Billy, we revert second nut straight and check on, and he had the nut straight, so rough ride. Here we open and versus big blind. Pot is flop is relatively dry. We have the bottom pair to improve on some turns. That's a nice turn to barrel. Another chance of him having a king goes down a bit. And we are blocking king 3 hands. And then he leads turn. That doesn't make sense without the king, so let's just fold. Then on table 1, we make trips on the river in a 3-bet pot, and that's over 200 BBs, so jackpot goes up. Damn, that jackpot is going up fast. Oh dear. I might go broke today with all these jackpot monies. Oh. Harrison is all in. We need 20% to call. We have two backdoors. I'm going to see this one. Oh, what a turn! Oh, we don't make it. Damn. That would have been a nice. Yeah, definitely should follow bankroll management. Then you shouldn't be losing too much. Because you will have swings in PLO. But if you know that mental game is a problem, if you tilt, then mental game is a problem. And it's like if you have a bad strategy, you cannot just decide that, okay, I'm going to play with good strategy. You have to learn it. You have to teach it to yourself. Same in mental game. You cannot just decide that I'm not going to tilt anymore because humans don't work that way. You can't. There's no way you can decide. It's like deciding that I'm not getting angry anymore because you are. So get the book, start working on it, and make sure it's not going to be a problem for you anymore. Here we last hand on this table. But why does it? I'm not sure if it's on the right table. All right. Let's put this one up here. Because if you have a mental game problems, then no bankroll management in the world is going to save you in the end. And in PLO, there's two things why mental game is so important. One is that there's a lot of swings in the game because very often money goes in. Way more often than in Hold'em. And the more flips there are, the higher chance there is that we run extremely well or extremely bad. What leaderboard? Ambition. What leaderboard? What points? Do we have a leaderboard? I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh man, I suck at Twitch. I have no idea what points you are talking about. Because we shouldn't have a leaderboard. I have no idea what you are doing. I know the cube box, but I have no idea what leaderboard thing is. Two reasons. One is that you have a lot of swings in PLO, so the possible triggers for your mental game flaws is higher. And then another thing is that the way the game works, it's easier to make mistakes due to mental game without noticing it. Because when you get slightly tilted, slightly annoyed, number one, going to stab the turn because we have the jack. And he folds, he says he's nice. There's like here on number two, when you're slightly annoyed, you want to get back, you want to win your losses back, you want to show people who's the boss, you start to trip at these 7-4-3 dudes. And you justify to yourself that double suited connected rundown. And you are not realizing that, okay, we are slightly overplaying. And I know that. I've been there so often in the past. You slightly overplay, you play slightly too many hands with slightly too much aggression. And that leads into situation. Oh, what happened? What happened? Oh, talk about you has followed. Thanks. We are at 95 followers or so. Approaching the 100. Oh man, Curtis took my move. I was about to bet this one, but he does it. So when you slightly overplay slightly too many hands, then the outcome is that you get it in with less than 50% equity quite often. And then the outcome is often the opposite than what you want. Traffic on Rio is really now 50 players on PLO 20. There's traffic on PLO 10, PLO 50. Now it's running hot because we have there the 101 rakeback. So all the week they give 101% rakeback in different ways. And today it's a splash bots. And then on some other days it's normal 51% splash and the extra 50 comes after the week. I'm going to leave here because he's aggro. Don't really want him to 3-bet me with his hand. Oh man, there's a lot of 3-bet. This is like playing PLO 50. Every hand is a 3-bet one. We have the code caller here. So try to peel the flop. And first card was nice, but then the rest are not. And he's going to stack off here. Okay, that helps a lot. And he has the nuts, and he had just the blockers. Oh, he had 10-6 for the straight too. But now the traffic is nice. I hope it stays because the software is a bit more stable now than what it was before. Bad queen's going to fold there on table 4. I don't know if it helps ECAP, but sometimes it helps to accept variance when you think why variance is good. More variance is a better thing. And variance is a good thing for us who want to make money in poker. Although people are trying to minimize the variance in poker, but that's not a good thing. We want to have variance in poker because if there was no variance, like in all-in situation, the pot would be split according to equities and so on. Then the recreationals would have no chance in winning. You don't see recreationals playing for money in chess tournaments because in chess, recreational doesn't have a chance versus good player. But in poker, they do because they know they might not be the best player, but any given day, they have a chance to win. So when they hit their 4-outer cut shot and win 100 euros from you, they get happy. And probably they will invest in the future with cut shot because they remember the time when they won with it. They want to have fun. And often winning money is fun. So when we have variance, those players have a chance in winning. It's like people play slot machines, it's minus EV, but they have a chance to win big. Now imagine someone made a slot machine where it would be $1 to spin the reels, and every round you win 95 cents back. It's the only win, 95 cents, but you get it each round. Do you think people would play that one? Mathematically, it's the same slot as any, but no one would play it because there's no chance of winning big. So that's what would happen in poker if the variance is taken away. So the more variance, more recreationals, and more money for us. Man, I don't know points and leaderboard. I haven't set up any stupid leaderboards. And I don't even have a points command. What did you do? 0 points. Oh man. We're 200 pp's deep. Can't 3-bet this hand, and we have the spade blocker. Oh man. We have the 4th nuts. So ace blocker is not that great there. Nut flush would be the 4th nuts. Bluff catcher. Ace on the river, please. Yeah, you learn strategy by studying. Oh, is he tight passive? I don't think he's bluffing here. Yeah. You study more, and then for the mental game, you cannot study it. You have to teach your brain to think differently. It's like in any kind of therapy, the idea is to teach your brains to work and function a bit differently to fix those problems. And same in mental game, you have to do some exercises and find the root cause for those emotions that cause you to tilt, and then fix the brain, so to speak. But yeah, there's a lot of content about that. I always advise to get the mental game of poker because it's a good book. A lot of players have used it. I haven't heard anyone saying anything bad about it, and it's free. Just Google it on the official site. All you have to do is make an account to the Amazon Audible, and you will get a free audiobook. And then you can cancel the subscription. You can keep the book. And I've done it twice for both of the mental game of pokers. I have them on my mobile phone as audiobooks, so it works. I'm making money now. I withdrew all my money. I cashed out a lot of money. I had a vacation in Spain, and I wanted to have fun there, so I cashed out. I left 170 on my bankroll as a starting point to build up after the vacation, and now I think this is eighth session. I have 7 sessions so far, winning in all of those, and now we have 440 or something. Probably not anymore because we lost a few flips. But yeah, if this session goes profitable, then it's plus 300 in 8 sessions. So it's going nice. And of course, nut racing is not playing. That's why I make money. When he comes here, I lose my money. He owns my soul. Except when I suck out on him. Oh man. really weak stab. And I'm going to because he might do that with the weak hand, or if he has something else than a full house, at least we might have outs, but that's really weak. And we are blocking the jacks. He might have fours, but that also might be some kind of queen ten of diamonds. And then Louis decides to wake up, so we get away. And both of them should have a full house. But Rex didn't. Or did he? 4-7. Oh, he had a 4-7. Kind of missed the flop. A lot of action on the tables. Would be nice to get a good hands. I'm not sure how, like, here when we have these 3BB splashes, should it really affect our pre-flop princess? Of course, the easiest way is to play normal PLO, and it's just a bonus what's there. But I'm interested if someone makes a calculation at some point. Where is the threshold? At what point we should start to adjust our pre-flop ranges? What is big enough splash that we start to widen our range significantly? I had a really bad feeling about this when we opened versus Douglas because he's 3-betting everything. Could be float here. Let's try. We don't have any. We have one backdoor flush draw, but nothing more. Oh, and he's just triple barreling. Okay. Wasn't afraid of our call. So let's play for value versus him then. No more loose opens. And he's 3-betting everything. Where do all these maniacs come from? Let's turn our attention to here with a really nice hand. 200 ppc. Should we 4-bet? I'm not a fan of 4-betting, but we are deep, so it's almost like, well, SPR is going to be 2 or something, but this might backfire. Oh, and we get a cold call. Oh dear. If there's going to be a good flop, this would be it. We gotta get it in. Let's hope someone folds at least some equity. Oh, fuck me. And he has try kings. Well, that's how you play. Oh, he had 2 pairs. That's why he stacked off. And what the fuck? I'm out of words. The guy here had double suited aces and didn't want to shove pre-flop. I think he should fold double suited kings to a big 4-bet. Wow. Why did I net only 22? Oh, it was the sideboard that was calculated. And I timed out and 40 days is here. Oh, you don't even see those. Oh man, now there's so much going on that I think that was such a big pot that I can't remember what was my jackpot rules, but let me see. I I you have to request music. I'm trying to see my jackpot rules because I don't remember them myself. Oh man, now there's some weird. How do I mute this Twitch? Oh, it came from the Ambitions NAS request. All right. Over 300 pp profit, it's $2. All right. So let's add 2 to the jackpot and it's going to be 19. So we're rising up. Is there music in this one? Official movie. Is there music or is it just a movie sound? Okay. No, this is from the movie. Let's keep that one. Measuka, Kyyberi UK, clear the board. Oh, that was a nice board on table 1. Can't complain. And oh boy, what hand did they have? And someone slow played double suited aces pre-flop. Measuka is kind of banned then. Either you love it or you hate it. It's quite many people would say that it's weird music. So now we are rolling on table 1. And here we have a hand. And we missed the flop completely versus normal tap pair. I think this is nice spot to just step once, and we have the highest fold equity probably on the flop. So, and if he calls, we have 4 overcards. Should we barrel or check and call river? Weird lead. That's weird. Hello, Flush Hype. Have you guys seen the mosh pit? I'm gonna show it to you. You're going to love this one. Let's see if we can get it to work. Let's wait until this song ends. Do I have it set up here? No, what's that? Sorry you missed few hands. The mosh pit is super nice. It's kind of... Okay, let's pause that one. So the mosh pit is... When it starts, you have to put command exclamation mark and dance. That's how you enter. You could throw bottles, but we have that 3-4 minute delay, so you cannot really do that. Oh, I'm not skipping. There was no music. It was a movie clip. I don't skip. So there's going to be command dance, and then you join, and then there's people moshing until there's only one standing, and that can be used to raffle promotion and stuff. Yeah, I don't hate Meshuka. I'm a metalhead. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. Who would have it set on table 3? So let's see if we can get this mosh pit to start. On table 1, I'm going to double barrel, rep that 6 on non-spade. Oh, okay, someone has a hand. Let's see how this works. Okay, and now all you have to do is and there you can see it's closing in a minute. There's a delay, but I hope you are there. Everyone join, join, join. It's awesome. The chat broke for me. I cannot type in the chat. What happened? Okay, now it's going on. I love it. ECP wins. That's that's awesome. But my computer is strange. I wasn't able to write on the chat. Okay, now it works. So I wasn't able to write there, so I was wondering what the hell is going on. I'm going to use that one to sell all the promotion stuff we might have in the future. Because oh, that's it. Yeah. So that ambition doesn't get get too grumpy. I added NAS. That's the first thing that I heard from NAS, and believe me or not, when I was in my 19, 20-year old or 17 to 20 or something like that, I listened a lot of rap and hip hop. So I had a backing bands and I listened a lot of hip hop and I listened to Nas along with some Finnish hip hop and so on. So I know Nas and I still love it if there's a good beat and you can understand something that the rapper is saying. So there's an extra Nas for you. But I love that mosh pit. It's awesome. I just don't have it on my new fabulous stream deck where I could have all the quick buttons. I need to put it up here. And then we wait. What about kings? What about flopping the set? That's not a set, but the opponent hasn't created problems so far, so I don't think he's starting to create one here. And then funny action here. Not the great hand, but four-way. We have the position, cannot really get away anymore. Let's see the flop. And it's a cut shot with backdoors. Would be nice to see the turn. And that sizing sucks. 4 outs. 10%. So to call €5, we need to win a pot of 50 if we make it. And when we call the pot is 28, so we need 20 more. Can be really close. Sometimes we see the turn. Not sure about that one. And now he shoved. This doesn't make sense. Call the flop, shove the turn. Aces with spades, but still doesn't make sense. What are you doing, guys? So weird lines from people. Probably we're going to see some crazy ass hands. He had a wrap with the flush draw. Why would he shove the turn? Because this guy always probably has the straight. So why would he shove? That's just a bad play. Why put the money in when you are 100% sure currently it's underdog? Doesn't make sense. Alright, top set on flush draw board. And then we have the nuts. And then we bet the river sucks to be out of position. And he had the flush, we got the value. He had 6 high flush. And then a big splash pot. That opens new betting round, so these guys can get it in if they want, and our hand is so bad. We have to skip this one. An ace jack 3, then why would he 5-bet pre-flop and he wins? Oh my freaking god. What? Why do they want to make the pot bigger with these hands? Why not just limp and see who hits and someone wins? It would be best for all. Why? I don't understand why. Well, not my problem. Well, people play roulette, and I'm asking why. Same thing. And not much has been going on. And here people start to put money in. And he has a jack, then he has a jack, then with the redraw. Douglas is aggressive by hitting nuts on every other hand. Oh, bananas. Wild games. can't complain about the action. But all I can do is wait. Let's get a hand. Almost a hand. But court is opens. And we fold. Almost a hand. But until opens. Oh, he doesn't. And ace high board. Nice to see, but and he just doesn't fight back. In the last session, I did an around half an hour lecture or webinar about range definition. Too bad I forgot to press the record button, so it's not uploaded to YouTube. So if any of you missed it, then can't do much about it. It would have been nice to be able to put that to YouTube, but no record, no YouTube. But every time when I remember to press the record button, all these sessions will be uploaded to YouTube for people to watch if they like. It's youtube.com/Kyyberi. You can find there all the videos. And here people are getting money in. Straight versus bluff. So straight wasn't afraid of full house at all. And then 3-bet in every hand. Man. It's crazy. When there's cold chips in the table, everyone goes bananas. Here, let's stab the turn for protection. No one was interested. And we get crappy hands. Thinking about maybe I should reload this 100 because, well, we are not deep. Let's say there was someone 80 euros deep. So we are 400 pp's deep, and then we get a big splash. And people start to put money in. I would I would hate to gamble with 400 pp. So if someone gets deep here, I'm just going to reload because there's those big splashes coming up, and I really want to be 100 pp's deep when those happen. Not 200 or 300. 3-bet aces. We are 150 pp's deep, which might be a problem if we miss the flop heavily. I'm going to bet we have the blockers to queen and 8. But he could shove some kind of jack 10-9 type of hand. And we have a double cut shot. but we might be drawing three outer. So in the best case scenario, we might be even small favorite of flipping, but I'm going to keep it up. Without the blockers, I would probably just check fold the flop. Then, interesting turn. We have a 9 blocker. I don't think anyone raises there lightly, so if they raise, we can pretty much assume they have the straight. And Hoofatronic is following. We are close to the 100 mark in followers, which is nice. 96 on the counter. Here, opponent opens ace-ace three board. Of course, we call. If he barrels a turn, I'm going to fold. Yeah. Let's see if there's a. Of course, there's the three bet. Man, people go bananas today. I hope Andy gets it in and we can see what, yeah. And now what Jennifer had. If he bets fold this flop, okay, and try aces with a cut shot and ace of diamond blocker. All right. Standard. Yeah, it had issues. I couldn't write anything to the chat. Not sure if it's working or not. We have mediocre splash. 25 BB. Let's limp and hope we can see the flop for free. Because then that would be best for all. High EV, low variance. But Winston pots it. Of course he does. And then everyone calls. No. Rex decided to limp 3-bet. And probably he has some weird ass hand. Let's see what they have. Someone has to hit that flop. And Jack, 8, 6, and King send it. Why 3-bet pocket jacks there? I'm so out of words. It's a gamble, nothing more. Well, here we reverse the nuts. So we could put here. Because it's either we have the hearts or we have a bluff. But there's a lot of hands that we could bluff, so it's hard for him to fold if he has something, but he does. So let's say nice hand. People are going bananas on these splash pots. Well, let's be patient. Let's wait. And some casual 3-bet action here. And Pilkins is following 97. At least on my counter, it might be missing some. So we are close to 100. When we get to 100, we add $5 to jackpot, so it's building up once again. Yeah, they overestimate floor equity, and well, of course, if they can make anyone fold, their EV gets slightly higher. But when they have a bad hand, it's not great. I think the EV would be better to see the flop as cheap as possible, and then when you hit, put the money in. Because even if everyone folds the flop, there's a lot of money to the splash. The jackpot works so that if I get quad queens or better and actually win the pot, then the jackpot is triggered and we host a raffle where it costs 100 Q-bucks to buy one raffle ticket. You can buy maximum of 5. And then we just raffle and someone wins 75% off the jackpot. So it's free money. And you get Q-bucks for watching the stream. And you can play casino games. The introduction to those are in the channel page. So just scroll down. You will see those. So EV-wise, your goal is to get 200 Q-bucks as soon as possible. Because if the jackpot triggers, well, now it's 20 or something, so someone wins $15 for free, but it's for free. But if there's 25 BBs, then your pre-flop stacking range shouldn't change that much. Like, if it's going to be 4-way without the splash, you would need 25%. With the splash, you need something like 24 or 23. So people shouldn't go bananas unless the splash is big enough. Top pair on tri-board SPR4. Let's bet and just get it in if he shoves. It's a board where he should raise quite a lot of even weaker hands. Yeah, but the splash goes banana. It's like Not raising uses Splash the Pot Maniac nodes. Because when there's cold chips, some people go totally crazy. It's not, they don't understand that 20 cents extra money doesn't mean you can gamble with anything. Let's peel the flop here. Cut shot backdoors. And here people go bananas, 3-bet, 4-bets flying around. This is weird game. It feels like the best strategy here is to wait for aces and shove it preflop and close your eyes. And Queen Jack 6-5. Well, you can make the full house and win. But 3-betting that kind of trash is nonsense. Oh man. This is pretty swingy today. Oh, I'm glad we have survived the worst of it. Open a bit loose, then Timothy 3-bets, and we flop 3 pairs. I think with that sizing, he has a bet fold range. So let's just get in and hope he fold. Oh, he has the ace king. Yeah. Oh, and he's blocking everything. Damn. That sucks. So he was blocking our outs when we didn't even have the equity that I thought we would have. Table 2, we make the straight on the river. Let him bluff if he wants. And Kyyberi is can. Oh, let's see if he has the 10-9. No, he has some weird random shit. What about the reversed implied odds of those hands? Okay, there's a question about earlier. Talking about polarizing our treatment. Oh, we don't have a polarized treatment range in PLO. No, no, no. Because tree betting doesn't generate fold equity at small stakes or in general. There's no reason to tree bet bad hands. So it's sort of not polarized. Why would we want to tree bet Queen Jack 6-8? Instead of having just the wider but top heavy tree bet range. If we want to tree bet Queen Jack 6-7 or Queen Jack 6-8, why don't we tree bet Queen Jack 7-9 or Queen Jack 10-9? It's just how wide you want to make your tree bet ranges. Ace 5, 6, 7 double suited is way better tree bet in hand than Queen Jack 6-8 because you have a nut flush. So when both players hit the flush draw, you're the one who's dominated. Because in 3-bet pots, it's all about domination. When the money goes in, when both players hit the flop, money goes in. And if you are the one who constantly has higher flush draw, higher two pairs, higher draws, you're the one who's making money. And the guy who has those 8 high flush draws, bottom two pairs, they are dominated often. So I don't like the 3-bet of those hands. Because if we want to three bet, let's say 10%, I'm quite sure you can build up 10% range that doesn't include queen jack 6 8. And why do we want to bluff 4 bet range at small stakes? Unless we are super deep. You don't have to be balanced at small stakes. Go for value. So I don't see why we should ever 3 bet queen jack 6 8. No special muffins. When you go to casino, there it is. And you won. It's on my to-do list to make those text so that there would be some variance in the text, so it's not always the same, so it would be better. And in the future, there's going to be a possibility to buy things with $2. For now, it's only for jackpots, but in the future, aka when I have time to think it through and do it, you can buy discounts for discounts for private coachings, or even public coachings. That might be a cheaper price if we do it on the stream. And probably as soon as there will be the day when I get some merchandise, so you can buy those Solver is a Pussy t-shirts, then you could use $2 to get discounts on those ones too. And yeah, it's probably plus 55 now at the moment. Well, ambition, according to Solver. Now, I've been ranting a lot about Solver and small stakes, and I actually hosted a poker strategy stream today, a few hours ago, about Solver in small stakes. And you should watch it. Solver strategy and small stakes don't mix together very well. Here, trying to check the river, really hard to get value from anything. And he has the small straight. Here, we hit the nuts. We get a call, and turn is pretty horrible. Going to bet the turn for protection versus flush draws. If he raises, I think it's very easy fold at PLO 20. Don't like to keep free cards. So ambition, I've been working with Solver strategy this month and going to continue it. And there's a poker strategy thread about what I think about it compared to small stakes. But yeah, in solver it's 3 bet, but remember solver 3 bets ranges that works against another solver who plays perfect balance and perfect post flop. But when we play actual humans at small stakes, it's a bit different thing. I don't like the 3 bet. Oh, we need music. Probably going to continue with the stream to around 2 hour mark for half an hour more. And then get to sleep. Top 2. Pick up the pot. Not so great jacks, but with suited king and 2 BB splash. Let's spice it up. And Jennifer, you make my life miserable. Overpair and open-ender. And weak c-bet. I'm just going to get it in. We can't be in a really bad shape versus anything. Except the set. Well, we have 10 outs. Oh! He has the 2 pairs and the flush draw, so we were not in such a great spot, but we suck out. Or do we even? I don't know how much we have equity there. Table 1, let's raise pair and a wrap with backdoors. And that was over 100 BB win. Here, so it's going to put we're going to stack off here. So adding $1 to jackpot. And he has queen 6. Damn. Well, we won and then we lost in the very next hand. Oh boy. We couldn't enjoy the winnings for that long. Oh, now we have hands going on everywhere. Here, I'm going to stack off. Oh, and here we flop pretty nice. Acro 3 bets us. Let's call once. Let him barrel the turn, and if he bets, he's committed. Oh man! He has the queen 6. We suck out. Let's poke him a little. What are the odds? We are constantly being dominated in those spots, but we suck out. So every time when we are in a really bad shape, when I think we are in a good shape, and the opponent has some kind of cooler hand, we suck out. So running really well in those spots. So can't complain the run. Remember, I complained in the beginning and hope it turns. Well, it turns. We don't hit the nuts that often, but we suck out on everyone. So that's 50 cents to jackpot. 21.15. So the jackpot is rising. PLO Quick Pro, yeah. Well, he's rebuilding a form. Well, I don't like the reasoning if we want to 3-bet wide for unpredictability, because at small stakes everyone looks at their own cards. They don't think about your 3-betting range. When the flop comes, if they connect with the board, they get the money in. If not, they fold. That's how 99% of players at under PLO 50, PLO 25 and lower plays. So you don't need any deception or unpredictability at small stakes. It's for value. People call with wide range and they stack off when they hit something, and you want to be the one who dominates them. Bottom line, if we start to three bet all kinds of medium rundowns and some queen 9, 5, 4 random hands, the opposite will happen. They dominate us more often than we dominate them. About my mastermind, I put some on the thread. I kind of like the approach of Jane Anders because he's not using the solver strategy. He's using the mix of balanced solver strategy and exploiting the tendencies of small stakes players, which I think is a really good combination. So I think it's pretty nice. Nice course. What the fuck? Flop was king 5-5 and Daniel called with queen jack then on my c bet. And here Winston might get mad. We bluff catch him and said nice hand. Yeah, I definitely agree that here I'm just going to get in. We don't have much of a backdoor spot. He shouldn't connect the board often. So he's going to stack up with a lot of jack XXX hands and so on. So yeah, I definitely agree on board coverage. But you can have board coverage with good hands. Especially on ace-high hands because it reduces the opponent's ace-ace hands by half when you have that ace in your hand. So I agree on wide, but still I would do it for value. And board coverage is not a problem on PLO 25 and lower because the opponents are not exploiting you. Even if your 3-bet range is totally made up with Broadway cards, no one is fighting back on those small boards. Or 99% of players are not fighting back on the small boards. They fold happily when they disconnect. So you don't have to have a wide board coverage at small stakes. That's what I'm saying. The benefit of having board coverage is outweighed by having reversed implied odds. Here we call, and then he check raises this flop. I'm not really sure. Well, that helps a little. We have the second nuts and blockers to nuts. And he represents 4 deuce. So I'm just going to get it in. He could raise with 7, 8, 9 type of hand, but that just doesn't make sense. Let's see if this works. And he bet folds, okay. Well, the good thing is that he doesn't see our card, so it's better than showing him what we had. Then when you head up, because that's the thing, that's what I've been thinking about a lot. We have a certain strategy that is guaranteed money on small stakes, and it's been very aggressive versus one player, hyper aggressive versus one player, value heavy when there's 2 or more opponents, and just exploit the population tendencies in both scenarios. But that strategy fails when you go to PLO 50. Because if you're there aggressive, there's a lot of players who know how to react to that and know how to exploit you. So that if you want to play on PLO 50 and above, then you need to have balance. And the best way to start looking for balanced range Here actually I'm going to barrel the turn. He has way more kind of overpair cards instead of deuces or tens. But when he goes a turn, now I'm a bit worried. And he had a deuce, so it's okay. But if he shows try kings, then the plan would have failed. Well, you get a lot of heads up pots at micros. It feels like everyone is calling, but yeah, you get heads up pots a lot. Enough to make money. Because due to the rake, at small stakes, we make money in heads up pots. If you go and filter where the money comes from, if you're a winning player, then it's probably heads up pots. In multi-way pots, with tight range, we make margin on winnings, but there's not much room to make moves in multi-way pots. Not as much as in heads up pots. So it's mainly for value. And if everyone had the same range, everyone hits the flops as often, and as we have a slightly stronger and better range, we hit slightly more, slightly better, but the range kills most of the profit. So we make money in heads up pots. Or 3-betting with a good range when people stack off with less equity than they thought they had. So you don't have to have balanced range at micros because 99% of the players doesn't exploit it. The 99% of players doesn't really adjust to anything you do. I mean, well, now this is anonymous, but on stars, at macros, I see bet paired boards for years with around 90% c betting frequency on paired rainbow boards, 90% c bet on monotone boards. I did it. There's 100 videos on the internet where I say that I'm going to do it. And still can't remember that anyone on PLO 25 or lower would actually have adjusted to that and started to fight back at me. They don't do it. So you shouldn't be worried that someone is going to exploit you at the micros. Another nice spot. These are kind of hands that when we have the aggressive variance goes high, but it's connected enough to build the flop, and let's see what Winston does. Nice sizing. That fist bump is for the nuts. Now we have to dodge spades if he calls. They fold, alright. Well, I can live with picking up that pot. Well, they have all sort of crap, but think about what Queen Jack 6-5 will hit. That's the thing. When we have a 6-5, let's say the flop is Jack 10-5. That's the problem, that they have crap, we have crap, and the things that Queen Jack 6-5 will hit, it's for that hand it's really hard to flop really strong so that we get the money in a good shape. Unless we hit the Queen Jack on some Queen Jack deuce board and opponent has a wrap and it's 50-50 or something. So the problem is that with Queen Jack 6-5, I would say that the value comes from making people fold on the flop when we can represent aces, and that's a good argument, but I wouldn't trip with Queen Jack 6-5. I mean, if I want to three bet wide, let's say, let's go crazy, 15%. And then I have all the possible starting hands on PLO. And I have to select there as many so that we get to up to 15%. You can do that with also Oracle range as well. Just add hands and ranges until you get 15% of all hands. Then I'm quite sure that I can pick up 15% range that doesn't have a queen jack s5. And it's really hard with that hand to hit anything strong. That's the problem. It's like two hold'em hands. Queen jack and 6-5. And two hold'em hands is not a good PLO hand. So why would we three bet that as we can three bet better hands? Solver probably does it because he wants to have balanced calling range. But at macros, fuck balance. There's no reason to balance our calling range. Because both of people play their own cards so much. And then we have the set versus Timothy, who has been pain in the ass. Now he calls. Nice. He has been leading out here very often, so wouldn't be surprised to see. He probably has a king in his hand, so he's not folding here. And probably not folding the river. Let's not make it too big. And he calls, and I think he has ace king very often. Let's see how right I was. Ace king then 7. Correcto mundo. Right on point. That was a perfect reading. He had exactly the hand. And then there's a 3-bet. Oh, and there's a 4-bet. Oh, fuck. He was just losing a big pot, so he's probably shoving all kinds of hands. I think that calling is very, very marginal. So yeah, and remember what solver is doing. Solver is playing against another solvers, and it wants to have balance so it cannot be exploited. So if solver has a calling range preflop, it wants to balance it. And to balance that, if solver's 3-bet range is really top heavy only, then his calling range would be weaker. So he doesn't have those strong hands in his calling range, which would need to unbalance calling range. That's why solver doesn't just pick up the top 15% of hands. But there's no reason to do that for small stakes. We hit the top set here and was hoping for someone to bet, and now being out of position sucks. And then the river is probably 9 of diamonds. With this call, now it's easy call. Without it, it's going to be a bit awkward. But we are not going to win that one. Here we have rainbow aces. Let's call pre-flop. Ace! There is an ace. Nice. All you have to do is ask. And let's bet. Oh, and he just folds. Let's move up here. Second nuts with the redraws. Here, oh man, I messed it up. Guys, I messed up. Curtis 3 bets, and I thought I was pre-flop opener. I just make a bet. Now he raises with his aces, and I have to fold. Oh, he doesn't. Oh man. Ugh. Okay, here Travis made a small raise on the flop, and we are blocking the queen 7. He might have 7, so I have to call. I'm not a fan, but I have to call. And he has what? Total air. Very tight player goes bananas on the flop. Ambition says, oh, Ambition, sorry, I hope you are not offended, but earlier today on the Poker Strategy stream, I was talking about that some people treat solver almost like a religion. So solver is the only truth, everyone should follow it, and if someone says something else, they should be burned in a bonfire. Solver is not the best way to play PLO, and I've talked with a lot of people who play mid stakes, high stakes, all kinds of stakes, professionals, and each one of them said that solver is not the optimal way. It's a good starting point to have somewhat balance, but solver is not optimal way to play PLO because none of your opponents is playing that strategy that it's based against. You should always see what your player pool is, and way better approach is to make a general population based strategy. But yeah, solver is decent starting point, but it's definitely not the best way to play PLO. It's not max EV way. And at small stakes, solver is far from optimal way. Very far. You cannot say that it's optimal to bluff catch every possible situation when at micros there's a lot of situations where opponent don't bluff. Or it doesn't make sense to say that it's optimal to have a bluffing range on all river bets when we have a situation where opponent is not folding the river ever. So solver is not the best way to play PLO. That's my opinion. You can have yours, but at least I try to back it up. In an environment where no one exploits your style, no one fights back, no one adjusts, why the fuck would we want to have balance? When we grow up, we need to have balance, but we don't have to be perfect. But I've seen quite few PLO pros saying that trying to mimic solver strategy is not the perfect way to play. But I haven't seen anyone saying who's a uh, winning poker. Of course, there aren't things like losing poker pros, but I haven't heard any of the long-term poker pros in PLO saying that solver just mimicking solver strategy is the best way to play PLO. So if it was that good style, then probably there would be people who's actually making money on higher stakes would say that. So sorry, I don't get into the solver. What do we do here? Should we go in position? Would be easy call. So let's hope he has sevens, and then the software crashes. Man, it doesn't open the tables. So I had the nuts 200 pp's deep. Oh, I want to get a refund on that one. Luckily, it was caught on the stream, so I have the hand number. Yeah, dropped. Going to write on the Discord. Oh, fuck me. Well, there's nothing I can do about that now. But I had nuts playing deep, an opponent raised me. And software locked me out, and now I can't open the tables. And I cannot join any tables. That kind of sucks. So kind of write it to support and ask for a refund. I want to get something back, no matter what the opponent had, based on equities or something. But if I flop the top set 200 pp's deep, an opponent raises me on the flop, I want to get some money. That has never happened to me. Never. Even in the oh man. Well, I have to say that I'm very happy that it happened with Run It Once, where you actually, if you have the hand number, they can see the history and they will give you, if they see like I had a top set, an opponent had whatever he has, they could see that okay, the pot size is this, your equity is this, they refund you what's your equity share. Because I'm seeing them doing that. They are really fair. I think it's the only poker site in the world who does that. No other side would do it, but that sucks. Luckily, it wasn't any 70 euro spot, and then we, because it has happened to me. It was on MPN. Uh, Ambition. I've done 2 or 3 PLO Visions sessions and reflect that to the small scale strategy. And there's a ton of situations where what Visions would like to do is far from what I would like to do on small stakes. because there's a lot of instant profit situations. Like c-bet in monotone board with half a pot. 100% guaranteed money in the long run. No doubt. Reasons, check folds. So I'm quite happy with the money I make. 10 pp per 100. When what I have seen, solver strategy and micros, it's not 10 pp per 100. Not even close. So when someone gives me proof that they play solver strategy without exploiting opponents, just solver strategy, and it makes 15 pp per 100, EV in the long run at small stakes, high rate environment, then I change my mind. But until that, I stick with my aggressive heads up style, where the strategy is to exploit population tendencies as much as possible. Okay, yeah, probably others have too. Most likely he would have folded to my raise, so I didn't miss many euros. Here, 25 BP splash. 50 G's, yeah. Give me a million. We flop top two pair, SPR. I'm just going to actually read out here. What is... Why cannot I pot? I pressed the pot button. Well, this works too. And he has the same hand, and no one sucks out. Nice hand, sir. Here we 3-bet and flop pretty well. Nuts. I bet half a pot because I don't want him to fold because we block most of the hands he could have. And now I think I'm just potting because if he has a king with something, he often has king with a flush draw, king jack, or king queen 10 type of hand, and he's just stacking off there. And here we have double suited queens, and we get a 3-bet. This is something where I'm a bit lost, out of position. Should I just fold? If it was worse, I'm actually going to. That's something that I definitely should work about. Because earlier, I was just quite happy to call, but the results don't back it up. Especially out of position, playing flush draw out of position is rarely profitable. Especially queen high, because when you hit the flush, you cannot just go for big pot. So often you call the bet with the flush draw that requires implied odds, but out of position you don't get them. And with pocket pair, we just have to check fold so many flops that the call is probably break even in the best case scenarios if we can play very well post flop. So by folding those pocket pairs to 3-bets, we are not missing much. So as I was telling you, as I was telling, then when I was playing MPN on macro gaming, then I had a situation where we were 250 BPs deep with two opponents, and then I flopped the nuts with the two redraws. I had a top set with the nut open ender with the nut flush draw. And then I see bet, and there's an aggressive player raised me. It was a 3 or 4-bet pot. He raised me, and another one shoved all in. And I was like, man, 750 BP board, and I have the nuts with the 2 nut retros. And then I tried to press the call button, but it didn't respond because my internet just died on that moment. And when I got it back, the hand was folded. And both of them had some crappy hands. I would have won 750 BBs. It really sucked both times. Yeah, nobody plays over strategy, that's for sure. So I think it's a good starting point. But a good starting point doesn't mean you make money. Because you said that if I follow solver strategy, I will make money at micros. That's something that I disagree. You have to exploit your opponents to overcome the rate. And solver strategy makes mistakes in small stakes versus general population. Because in solver strategies, general population, everyone is playing solver strategy. In small stakes, no one is playing. So you could tailor your basic strategy that's suited on general population frequencies and reads, which would be way more optimal approach than solver strategy. And when playing at higher, solver is a good starting point because you need to have a balanced starting point. And for that, solver is probably the easiest way to do that. But it's not the optimal. So no one should think that, okay, I play solver strategy, now everything is good. It's a starting point where you want to deviate as soon as possible. And the pros you are talking about, well, Jane Anders has been saying that there's a Finnish Henri Koivisto, I'm Tyrant, who has said that uh, Jens Kylänen, Scenes 89, when the solvers came, he talked about it. I don't like to 3-bet Queen Queen. So it might be a mistake in solver world, but it's not a mistake in my world. You have to remember that solver assumes, oh, we flop nice here. Solver assumes certain fold equity to 3-bets. And solver assumes no one cold calls 3-bets lightly. I would be really interested to see that if we could give solver, oh man, oh fuck me, his rap was good. Oh boy. So if we could put average small stakes player strategy into calculator. I wish there would be calculators where we can manipulate opponents' ranges and frequencies on certain sports, and then the software would calculate the optimal way that you have for Hold'em, you have for tournaments. Haven't seen one in for PLO. So if we put some tendency from the small stakes and see what would be the optimal line, I'm very confident that it would be totally different than what the solver is doing now. But I would be interested to see how the software would adjust. But I'm not a solver believer. Sorry. It's a good thing, it's a nice thing, but it's not the absolute truth or the optimal way. It's like a religion. A lot of religions have good things in them. But in my opinion, you shouldn't blindly follow any one of those. Oh, Nasty River can do much on table 3. As run-it one is broken, let's play a broken song. I don't want a 3-bet aggressive guy with a hand that often flops only draws. Let's see what he does here. 240. 50-50 raise. If he folds half of his hands, we make profit. Here we flop the set versus tied one. And here we get the money in with the nuts. We don't have any retro, so we might be free rolled, but he has ace queen of hearts. And he splits the pot. Well, better than a heart. And he just stacks off with cut shot and flush draw, happily. Here we have the money in with double suited aces versus double suited aces, and no one wins. We are the ones who's free rolling. Oh no, we don't hit it. We are the ones who had huge equity on the turn with the flush draw and 2 pair outs. Running bad, cannot win. And splash pot here. And we flop top pair with the cut shot versus tied one, so what? It's weird. That splash money shouldn't be calculated, or it should be calculated to the pot, but I cannot bet here bigger. That's definitely a bug. Have to report that one. And let's just put pressure on him. Here we open aces, check back the flop with all the backdoor flush draws, and then bet the turn. And he folds. Bummer. Oh, it's so late though. Gotta stop soon. Let's play a few more hands. And then I'm off to write a support ticket. I hope court is folded. Yes, now everything is good when the acro folded. And then a tight one, 3 bets. Okay. Now we fold. I'm amazed he doesn't have aces. What a flop, what a flop, what a flop. Results oriented thinking. We have the 8 blockers. The straight, so let's use them. And then nice jacks. And kaboom. Oh, that's an interesting turn. He shouldn't bet anything but the king or aces, and he shouldn't have aces. But I don't think he folds queens, which he shouldn't have anyway. He had 8-4-7, 8-4-7-5, and the flop is king king six. He didn't have any hearts, so I 3-bet. Flop was king king 5, and he calls on a flush draw board only with backdoors and doesn't turn it into a bluff. Of course, he shouldn't when that third king comes, but I think he overestimates the power of backdoors. Because versus aces, he has 4% equity. If I had aces with hearts, he has less. Yeah, prime time was great. And there's a lot of talking about solvers and about solver strategy compared to small stakes exploiting strategy. There's a lot of stuff in that, so you probably, if you're interested in that, go to Poker Strategy when it's released. There's in the videos. And bottom line is that I don't think solver strategy is optimal, but it has a lot of good uses. And I think it's a good starting point. I don't think you go very wrong, even in small stakes, if your basic strategy is solver. But the problem is that I would still change it. Like in the mastermind, Jaynander says that the way he approaches small stakes and the certain things in the population or general population is that it's the mix of solver strategy and exploiting strategy. And I think that's the best approach. Because if you want to get out of micros and go to PLO 50, the sooner you start to learn being balanced, the better it is. But if you're happy to make money on micros, then you don't have to worry about solvers or balanced. Just exploit opponents. Yeah, it's coming up as video on the poker strategy. I try to remember to say and send a link when it does. It probably takes a few days. And then you probably need to be silver member or something. Can't remember. But there's nothing new. It's most of the session is me using visions, and then we see what vision does, and I explain what I would do in small steps and why, and just compare those strategies. And weird hand, bad flop. So it's basically like on monotone boards, it doesn't see bet out of position. It check folds them when opponent bets 1/3. That's wasting money on micros. See bet half a pot with all of your bluffs and you make profit. So turning instant profit, currently the instant profit situation to check fold is bad strategy at small stakes. So that's pretty much the bottom line. And then there's a lot of things. And then there are a few hands where I would raise on small stakes, and Soma would raise with certain backdoor flush draw. Same hand, but with slightly different suits on rainbow board. It would raise without backdoor flush draw. It wouldn't raise. So, in a way, solver thinks about same thing that raising is good, but it just chooses slightly different. Or just the hands with backdoor flush draws where I would just raise the flop even without the backdoor flush draws. I'm not sure if it can be seen on Twitch. You can check pokerstrategy.com. It's written pokerstrategy.com. So pokerstrategy.com's Twitch channel, it was hosted today, so it might be there. I cannot do it now, but you can see on the Twitch if it's there in their videos. Not sure if they save it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So it might be there for a few days. Here I 3-bet queens because I have the ace. Without the ace, well, on the small blind, I probably would anyway. When we're 100 BB deep. What would Bonnie do? Bonnie would call. Oh, that's horrible flop. Oh, he's going to fight. He's too aggressive. He's going to raise me with minion hands. I'm going to check forward this one. Yeah. It's a board he cannot miss completely. And if he hits anything, he's going to just get it in. Flopping jack high flush. Let's actually check back and then let him bluff the turn. The video is on Twitch yet. I don't, that sentence is kind of funny because I don't know if that means that it is there or it isn't there. So I'm not sure what it means. Oh, we have the second nuts. That changes. I don't think he checks nut flush twice. So we'll go for value. And of course he's going to call. That's the nut flush or a blocker, but that's a weird ass line with the nut flush. But does he have it? Oh, he had the set with it. Wow. He's a loose passive, so it's weird. But that line, oh man. Well, he would probably get my stack if he plays it differently. Wow. So he won 14. He could have got all. What a flop for him. Top set with the nut flush. If he had been... Oh, I'm not smarter than Solver. No one said that. Come on. Solver is a strategy that is optimal versus another solver. Do you actually ambition? If you play with opponent who's never bluffing, So if you are playing versus opponent who never bluffs and he bets the river for a pot, are you bluff catching him? That's the question. If you know that opponent is not bluffing, do you bluff catch him? Because that's what solver does. And if you run a general population stats from, let's say, PLO then on PokerStars, you see tendencies that it would be stupid not to exploit. If we know that on monotone boards, opponent fold 40% in general, why wouldn't we bluff with half a pot with all of our bluffs? Because it's instant profit. Why would we check fold monotone boards when we can bet for profit? Solver preflop ranges are close to PokerStars preflop ranges. There's not huge difference in those. In 3-bet pots, 3-bet ranges, there's a huge difference, but in opening ranges, so that's the same. So that's fine. Important thing is to understand that the closer we are to the threshold of opening or folding, the smaller the EV of the hand is. And the hands around the threshold, whether it's hand that should be opened or folded, the EV is very close to zero. And that's solver's idea, or it's close to zero if opponent plays solver strategy, but they don't. Which means that often the value of the worst hands go down because we cannot bluff that much if it's going to be multi-way pot. So in a pre-flop, the hands around the threshold, it doesn't matter if you play them or not. Those are not the difference maker in your win rate. And I'm not smarter than solver, but solver is not designed against most of its opponents. It's designed against solver. And I'm not saying I'm smarter than solver, but I know for a fact that solver strategy is not optimal for small stakes. And if anyone says that it is, then that's a stupid. No offense, but that's the dumbest thing I've heard. And all you have to do is think solver bluff catches in situations where opponent never bluffs. And solver bluffs in situations where opponents never fold. So it cannot be optimal. So I'm not saying I'm smarter, but I know that my strategy for small stakes is better than solver. It's like two different games. Two pairs here. Let's just see the river. It's a nice one. And let's go for value. And level 1, Matthew slow played once again, all the way up to river and then raised us when we stabbed the pot. So he's a slower, definitely. So, come on, Ambition. If you have an opponent who is 100-0-0, who never bluffs, and then you know he has a certain hand based on his actions, you can define his range very well. And you know he's not folding that on the river. Would you still bluff? And if you bluff with zero fold equity, that's dumbest strategy in poker that you can have. Or if we put our opponent on the nuts and he's very passive, he's not bluffing, and he pots the river on a blank river, you bluff catch because that's what you have to do, that you're balanced, while opponent has zero bluffs in his range. That's a dumb strategy. Because the thing is that the average opponent on PLO then is far from good. It's not your everyday rep who can bluff, who can have blocker bluffs. Your average opponent on PLO then is a passive call happy player who's very passive, doesn't raise with bluffs, doesn't barrel. When they start to put money in the pot, they have a strong hand. So the idea of bluff catching is to have information that opponent can bluff, and he has bluffs in his range. But if opponent's range is nuts and only the nuts, then he doesn't have bluffs in his range. And then bluff catching is just stupid. And in small stakes, the average opponent is so far away from what solver thinks as an opponent that the strategy cannot be optimal. But that's my opinion. And until someone shows me that solver strategy makes 15 BP per 100 at small stakes or better, I keep my opinion. And we don't hit the splash pot there. And it's very late. We've been online almost 3 hours, so probably time to go. I was about to go earlier, but I think now. And now I'm busy. I don't know what's correct because we have a delay. I don't know what you're referring to. All right, we hit the top two with backdoors. Let's see how many starts to put money in. But there's decent amount of turns that we can just shove. Like the only hand that beats us is the Jack 8, which would be the cut shot. We are blocking Jack 8 then, so let's protect the hand and get it in. If he goes, we have 6 outs. And he folds, so nice outcome. 50 BP pot. Ka-ching. Last hands. And then let's see where the session ended. And I don't know if some of the money is left when the software crashed, because it didn't open the table, so I don't know if the cash is stuck there in the internet. Well, not raising bluff in damage spots, well, it depends. Yeah, sometimes you don't need the blockers, because that's the thing that you can approach most days where no one fights back by just defining opponent's range and seeing how much we have forward equity versus that range. And there's a lot of situations where we don't need the blockers. We can just bet even without any blockers because we have enough forward equity. It's like on monotone boards. We don't need any blockers of any kind. We have enough forward equity. On paired boards, we can see with half a pot. Without any blockers, it's profitable. And Solver is not a mastermind. I mean, that's ambition. You sound like a Solver believer, like Solver is some kind of reincarnated Jesus who knows everything. Solver is just a strategy that is having balanced, unexploitable strategy versus another solver. Solver plays unexploitable strategy versus another solver. That's the thing. Nothing more. It doesn't know the truth into the meaning of the life. It's a strategy against another strategy. But when the opponent strategy changes, the optimal strategy changes too. And solver cannot adjust to anything. That's the thing. The idea of solver is to be unexploitable, not maximize EV. But it maximizes EV another solver because if it would change his strategy, then the other solver would be exploiting him. But that's all. And as long as your opponents are not solvers, the solver strategy is not optimal. That's common sense. That's level A logic. As soon as opponent deviates from his strategy, he could exploit some of the solvers. Or let's say when the opponent deviates from solver strategy, he can't be exploited. So the optimal strategy would change. And as most days, people are so far away from being anywhere near balanced that I don't know what to say. If you think solver is optimal strategy for small stakes, then please play so. I'm happy to play with you. Or not happy to play with you, but happy to have you on the table. But I have my strategy and it works. So until someone shows me solver strategy that works, I'm not changing. I'm definitely learning and exploring solver strategy. Because when I started to take shots at PLO 50, I don't want to be ass raped. So don't get me wrong. I want to be more balanced because if I follow the PLO 20 strategy, PLO 10 strategy on PLO 50, I will get my ass whooped. I need to be more balanced. Otherwise, it's too easy to exploit me. But I'm not playing perfect solver strategy. No reason to go for that. Let's see, where do I find... I can't remember what we had when we started. But we're profitable. We are either up 50 euros or we are up 6 euros. I can't remember how much we had when we started. And there might be some money left in the limbo. Don't know that. Have to send a support kit. But that was the 9th or 8th. I can't even remember. 9th or 8th winning session in a row. So in those 8 sessions, we are up 300 that we started on PLO then. So PLO 50, here we come. We are 100 euros away from taking shots to PLO 50. That's nice. So looking forward to that. Have a good night. Thanks for joining and thanks Ambition for the discussion. We don't have to agree, but we can still discuss. And thanks everyone. I might host a stream tomorrow, definitely on the weekend, now when Running Ones games are running. But best way to get a notification is to follow Twitter. Coach Kyyberi there. I agree that solver makes us better players. When you understand why it's doing something and then think how much I should take that into my game. But if you blindly follow solver, it takes you on the wrong direction. It's important that when we change our strategy, we know why we change, why it's good, and so on. So that's why playing with solver and thinking why it does this hand with this and why it raises this and not this. When you understand that, that makes you a better player. And that's what I'm doing this month. So let's see where we end up. But now I gotta go. I have to pee. So thanks for this one. And I will see you tomorrow or Saturday. Thanks and bye bye.